There are stories that chill the spine. Stories passed around late at night, whispered in hushed tones, with a nervous glance over the shoulder. But few are as eerily consistent and as globally reported as those involving the entity known as the Hat Man. The Hat Man is more than just an urban legend. He's a figure that people around the world claim to have seen, often during moments of vulnerability, sleep paralysis, sickness, or deep emotional stress. Always silent, always watching, and always dressed the same. A shadowy figure with a long coat, broad shoulders, and a distinct wide-brimmed hat. Tonight, we're diving into 5 chilling, real encounters with the Hat Man, and then we'll explore the theories behind who or what he really is. Get comfortable, dim the lights, and whatever you do, don't look over your shoulder. In rural Iowa, a boy named Daniel was just 9 years old when he first encountered the Hat Man. He had just moved into the top bunk of a new bunk bed his father built for him and his younger brother. That night, after everyone went to sleep, Daniel awoke suddenly. It wasn't a sound that woke him, it was the overwhelming sense that someone was in the room. From his elevated view, Daniel could see clearly across the room to the doorway. And there he was. A tall, unmoving figure stood in the doorway. Not solid, not misty, but a perfect silhouette of a man. A tall, lanky man with a hat that came to a point like a fedora or old-fashioned wide-brimmed hat. The room was dark, but this figure was darker. Frozen in fear, Daniel stared for what felt like hours. The figure didn't move, didn't speak. It only watched. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, it faded back into the hallway. When Daniel told his parents the next day, they dismissed it as a dream. But his younger brother, wide-eyed, interrupted. "I saw him too, from the bottom bunk." Neither of them ever slept with the door open again. Maria was recovering from a difficult surgery in a small hospital in southern Spain. The painkillers made her groggy, her body too weak to do much but stare at the ceiling. It was the 3rd night when she awoke from a dreamless sleep to find a shadow at the foot of her bed. It was a man, tall, still, watching her. She blinked, tried to move, but her body wouldn't respond. Classic sleep paralysis, she would later be told. But Maria was wide awake. The figure wore a hat and a coat that reached down to its knees. But what scared her most were its eyes. Red, faint but glowing like embers, burning holes into her. He never moved, never spoke, just stood there. And just when she thought she might scream, he vanished, gone like smoke. When Maria mentioned it to the nurse the next morning, the woman's expression changed. She didn't laugh or dismiss it. She only said, "You're not the first." Twins Lisa and Lauren from Vancouver, Canada, shared everything growing up. Toys, secrets, even dreams. But one dream haunted them both, the Hat Man. It started when they were 12. Both began waking in the middle of the night at exactly 3:33 a.m. Always with the same feeling, being watched. Sometimes he stood in the corner, sometimes in the hallway. He never came closer, but he was always there. One night, Lisa woke to find Lauren crying quietly in her bed. When asked what was wrong, Lauren whispered. He spoke this time. What did he say? He said, "You'll thank me later." Years later, Lauren would be involved in a serious car crash. The paramedics said it was a miracle she survived. The time of the accident: 3:33 a.m. Jared was an average college student in Michigan, pulling late nights and stressing over finals. One evening, after an all-nighter fueled by caffeine and anxiety, he stumbled into the bathroom to wash his face. As he looked up, he froze. Standing behind him in the mirror was a figure in black. Jared spun around. Nothing. He looked back. There it was again, closer. Jared ran from the bathroom, heart pounding. But for weeks after, he would catch glimpses of the Hat Man in reflective surfaces. Windows, screens, even puddles. He stopped using mirrors altogether. Only after finding an online forum about shadow people did he realize he wasn't alone. "15-year-old Marcus lived in an old farmhouse in Georgia. The basement was always creepy, but one evening, while doing laundry, he heard something strange, a soft tapping from the far corner. He turned, and there he was, the Hat Man, standing in the shadows, hat brim low over unseen eyes. Marcus couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then the whisper came, "You know me." Marcus bolted upstairs and refused to go down again for years. He never told anyone until adulthood, when his mother confessed something strange. When Marcus was a baby, she used to see a man in a hat watching from the corner of his room. Who is the Hat Man? Theories vary. Some believe he is a manifestation of sleep paralysis, a waking dream conjured by the brain in moments of fear. Others think he's an interdimensional traveler, slipping through the cracks of our reality. Still more tie him to the supernatural, a demon, a ghost, a collector of souls. Or perhaps a guardian, appearing in moments of trauma not to harm but to warn. Psychologists suggest it's all a trick of the mind, that the consistency is a shared hallucination triggered by cultural exposure and mental stress. But that doesn't explain the people who saw him before the internet, or the ones who had never heard of him before their encounter. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. The Hat Man isn't going away. He appears across continents, across decades, to children and adults alike. He doesn't speak. He only watches. And if you haven't seen him yet, maybe it's only a matter of time. Thanks for watching. If you've had your own experience with the Hat Man or any shadowy figures, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into the unknown. And remember, some shadows don't belong to anything. They're watching.